Hello and thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Friday, April 7th edition of our video devotionals. We appreciate you being with us today, and I hope your Friday is going well. And it is the end of another work week and school week. And I realize with this being Friday before Easter, then that may change people taking a vacation, or I think probably schools will be out next week, spring break, that sort of thing. But at any rate, it's Faithful Friday, as we call it, and God certainly has been faithful to us, and we're thankful for that. And then, of course, Sunday, we celebrate the Lord's resurrection, and hopefully everybody can be in church to do that. All right, so I'm going to read to you from the Today book. On this date, April the 7th, 1947, Henry Ford died. April the 8th, 1812, Louisiana was admitted to the Union. It says here on April the 9th, 1865, the surrender of Lee to Grant at Appomattox Courthouse. And in 1870, the birthday of Vladimir Lenin. Of course, he furthered the cause of communism. And so you've heard me say what I think of communism. And I think communism itself is a failed system. There's never been, in my opinion, and I think history would say this also, it's just never worked. It's never been a system that's good for its people. And basically, communism, the god of communism is the state, not God. But we'll just leave it at that. Otherwise, we're going to go to the Bible, all right, the Word of God here. We're going to be in 1 Samuel chapter 20. We're going to read at least one verse here and then give you a thought for today. Otherwise, we appreciate everybody who watches these videos. Appreciate any of the comments that come along the way also. And then, of course, as we can pray from folks from time to time, please do that. Little update on a pastor friend of mine whose wife is in stage 5 Parkinson's disease. Of course, I talked to him, I guess, about a week ago today, somewhere along this line, and he told me that, humanly speaking, as far as what a doctor would say, medically speaking, she has about 3 months to live. I talked to him yesterday, and he says it's very possible that she just has hours to live now. So really went downhill very fast. A very faithful preacher, wonderful wonder. If he's around him, you'd love to be around him, and just a great attitude, great spirit about him. But pray for this preacher and his wife, and as we say, we do need it, and I believe we feel the effects of that. If you'll do that, that would be wonderful. All right, so 1 Samuel chapter 20. Basically, what I've read today is about Jonathan and David's friendship. And, of course, Jonathan is the son of King Saul, and King Saul is seeking to kill David. So with that going on here, I'm going to read to you here in verse number 8 of chapter 20, 1 Samuel. It says, "Therefore, thou shalt deal kindly with thy servant, for thou hast brought thy servant into a covenant of the Lord with thee. Notwithstanding, if there be in me iniquity, slay me thyself. For why shouldest thou bring me to thy father?" This is David speaking to Jonathan. What I want to look at today is that phrase there that it says here that thou hast brought thy servant into a covenant of the Lord with thee. We're talking about this deep, deep friendship. And, I know there's, you might call it, what's the word? Not phases, but maybe stages, levels of what we would call friendship, perhaps. I preached a message about, as a pastor, I'm not going to be your buddy. Now, some people look at it and go, what? Not going to be your buddy? And here's what I mean by that. To me, in the official sense of a buddy, is someone that you have something in common just because you might do something together, like fishing buddies or bowling buddies or something like that. But outside of that, there's really not a strong connection. I'm not saying that can't develop into something, and I'm not saying that friends can't do things, but there are people that are just buddies. There's buddies at work because they work there. But we're talking about a friend. When you think about what the Bible speaks about a friend, I think a deep relationship and a spiritual relationship. And David said here to Jonathan, that you've brought me, thou hast brought thy servant to a covenant of the Lord. You've made this decision. We've made this happen. And in this case, it was about David's life. It was literally about him living or not living, being killed or not killed by King Saul. And of course, Jonathan was trying to protect David. And so I guess the practical point I want to make here is this. When you think about people in your life, how many of them are really what you would consider a friend, and how do you treat them as a friend? We're talking about, is it like a covenant with the Lord, like a promise? Is it something you hold sacred and solemn, that relationship, and how you treat them, and how you stick in that relationship, because it is something between, it's a covenant you have with the Lord. And I think it's something very, very important. So we're not going to be long today, but think about the people in your life, and think about the dedication you have to that friendship and that commitment. I think that's important. And I think you ought to pray about making strong commitments with people, because it is a spiritual, I think, a spiritual decision. And I think a friend really is somebody that it should be based on a spiritual connection above all things, not just merely, you've got something in common. And I think that's something important to think about today. Be a friend to your friends. And we've said before, the Bible speaks about this. Sometimes a friend will tell you something you may not necessarily wanted to hear, but you needed to hear it. A friend will do that. And of course, a friend will love you. We know that Jesus is a friend. He's a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. There's not a friend like the lowly Jesus, no, not one. The old song, what a friend we have in Jesus. And that's why we can take everything to him in prayer. Our faults, our failures, and certainly our requests. So I think we'll end there today. So let's keep that covenant, a strong covenant of friendship with others. And may we be indeed to them very strong as unto the Lord. And I think that's important. So have a wonderful Resurrection Sunday. If you're going to be traveling and going places, you be careful. Otherwise, be safe and be healthy. And Lord willing, we'll see you on April the 10th, which is Monday, and we'll start this thing all over again. So have a wonderful day.